From heavy rain to extreme cold to extreme heat, Environment Canada issuing all kinds of weather alerts for all 10 provinces and 2 territories today. Much of Ontario and Quebec are under flash freeze warnings after record-breaking temps today. They'll see a dramatic drop this afternoon, and that will stick around until tomorrow. For New Brunswick, they could get up to 100 millimeters of rain along with strong winds into tomorrow morning. Out west, extreme cold warnings are in parts of the prairies. Wind chill values could drop to minus 45. And in BC, it's snow they're worried about. There are warnings in place for parts of the Central Coast and Fraser Valley. Up to 20 centimeters is in the forecast, even more maybe. And let's bring in Dave Phillips, Environment Canada's senior climatologist. Thank you as always for joining us today, David.
Thank you, Roger. It's almost like February is going out like a lion. I mean,
it's
crazy.
going out like something. I mean, some people are going to be happy to see it go. Others are loving the temperatures. Like today in Toronto, Pearson Airport saw a record 16 and a half.
Yes.
And that beat,
but
the record's only
Roger,
4 years old.
15 minutes later, after it reached that 16,
yeah.
15 minutes later, it was 6 degrees. So it's like your weather, it's like spring in your front yard and winter in your backyard.
It dropped 10 degrees in 15 minutes?
In 15 minutes. And, you know, even in Montreal, I looked at Mirabel Airport just before we came on air, plus 6. At Montreal Trudeau International Airport, plus 13. So it's just a dramatic difference in either space or time. And we see temperatures, for example, up in Sudbury are minus 14 right now. And that cold air, and it's even colder further north, Roger, and that cold air is just coming right down. And this is why we have this flash freeze, because we have these very wet surfaces, either from rain that we've had. We've had in Toronto's had about 25 millimeters of rain over 2 days. It's pooling and ponding, and those winds are not strong enough to push it away or evaporate it. And so then we're going to get those dropping temperatures that could turn surfaces, untreated surfaces, into very slick surfaces.
And of course, the big concern, locks. Bring lock de-icer if you're heading out. If you had all that rain, you may find yourself trapped. Okay, is this the devil's work or El Nino?
You know, Roger, it really is just weather being weird, wild, and wacky. I mean, it isn't, I don't think it's El Nino. It's not climate change. We've seen these kind of temperature changes in the past. I think to add a thunderstorm in it in February is a little bit rare, too. You don't often see this. This is not July. This is still winter. And the temperature changes are what Calgarians would be very used to. It's almost like the Eastern Chinook. That we're seeing here. But no, I think it really is weather wars, Roger. It is like the warm Gulf of Mexico air duking it out with cold Siberian polar air. And then it's happening over Eastern Canada, for Ontario, Quebec, and of course in the Maritimes. And Roger, I worry about the Maritimes because they're going to see the flash freezes. They're going to see lots of rain and strong winds, as you have reported. But it's been a very wet February for them. Huge amounts of snow, then rain, and warm temperatures has melted. My gosh, they've got standing water and flooded basements, and now they're going to get this flash freeze. Boy, I mean, it's almost as if you could pick your poison. Your weather misery is described in so many different ways. And when we look across the three provinces, or the Eastern Canada, it's almost like a litany of weather misery in terms of either extreme cold or flash freezes or rain or strong winds or storm surges. I mean, it is just everything just seems to be happening in about 1 or 2 days. And then it'll be calm again. And then, my gosh, we'll see record warm temperatures early next week in parts of Ontario and Quebec.
Now, the big question is, are we going to have, can you be a groundhog for a day? Like, we're getting these warm temps. I think everybody wants winter done now, or is it going to drag on? What's it looking like?
Roger, I don't think we've had winter. I've said winter has been canceled.
Well, it's been something. My gosh, I don't know what it was.
This has been winter. I mean, I'm not a fan of winter. I would take it in a heartbeat. But my gosh, it's been a real problem for recreation, of course. It's been easy getting around, and home heating bills are less. So there are winners and losers with this. I always think the best weather is cold winters and warm summers. But hey, that doesn't seem to be the case. We seem to be getting more extremes. Now, that may be climate change, or that may be El Nino effects. But this kind of sudden burst of change of air masses in one day is just Canada. It is where we are, positioned between the Arctic air to the north and the warm tropical air to the south, and the battleground is here in eastern Canada.
All right, you're hedging your bets. David, thank you as always for talking to us.
Okay, Roger. Bye-bye.